crack down more on opposition, crack down on the protesters, crack down on regular people. And that's pretty bad. As you have already probably heard, a couple days ago, on 23rd of January 2021, in Russia, the protest happened. The media, as usual, hasn't been very helpful in giving information on the protests. So this is my take on what has happened in the couple days since the protest ended. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Letters to King. We're living in today's Russia explained by the insider you can trust. A couple days ago I was actually going to the protests, explaining the protests and filming and showing them. So if you haven't watched them, the link is right here. After I shared my video on YouTube, I was overwhelmed by the number of attention my video received. So many views, so many comments, people started discussing, and I was so surprised to actually find out that very few people had true information about the protests. They started asking me all kinds of questions. So let me briefly tell you what has happened in a couple days after everything stopped. If I were to describe everything that happened a couple days in one word, I would say amazing. The events truly amazed me by a few things. First of all, there are so many people came out on the streets to protest. I haven't seen anything like this in Russia since 2011, since the very first protest on Bolotny Square. Second, the protests were peaceful. The protesters were absolutely peaceful. They were unarmed and they were very, very energetic, but they were not aggressive towards the police and towards the passing-byers. And the third thing is, the police was very professional. What I saw with my own eyes, the cops were ready, they were pumped up, but they didn't go overboard. They were correct. So all in all, everything went peaceful, at least here in the south of Russia, in the city of Rostov-on-Don. There was some violence in Moscow and in St. Petersburg. A few people were hurt and there were a number of arrests. How many people do you think participated in the protests? Well, here it's where it gets interesting, because there are two completely different estimations. One from government-controlled media and another one is from the protest organizers. I think they're both wrong. The media says in Moscow there were 2,500 to 4,000 people. And the organizers are saying 40,000 people. Well, clearly they weren't 4,000 people there. You just can take a look at the picture and judge for yourself. I don't understand why media lies so openly. And the facts can be checked. I mean, this picture right in front of you. How many people are there? 2,500? I don't think so. But I don't believe there were like 40,000 people either. The truth is somewhere in the middle, I believe. 25 to 30,000 people, but that's a lot. Just in Moscow, that's a lot. In St. Petersburg, there was a huge crowd. In Rostov-on-Don, with my own eyes, I saw at least 1,000 people. Okay, I was driving, I saw the crowds in different spots and different streets. A lot. So that's really amazing. Now, there were quite a few arrests. So far, around 2,000 people have been arrested. There are at least 10 people charged with felonies. I think more yet to come. The Western media was portraying the protests something like Russia unites. No way, that's not true. Russia did not unite 2 days ago. As a matter of fact, Russia divided into two parts. One part, the younger people, liberals, the protesters who want Russia to be changed. And another part is the conservatives, the pro-government who support current government and Putin, and they don't want any changes for Russia. It's really hard for me to judge how large these parts are, but our society is being split up. That's a fact. What's next? God only knows. I have recently heard the calls to go on the streets again on January 31st. We will see how that unfolds. A lot of Russians are saying something like, You see, these protests that happened, they sent a clear message to the government that something needs to be changed. In my opinion, that's bogus. The only thing the government will change is tighten the laws that prohibit people to gather and make it much harder to protest. Okay, that's how our government works. It does not get feedback, it does not get messages, but rather decides to crack down more on opposition, crack down on the protesters, crack down on regular people. And that's pretty bad. One of such crackdown actions that have already happened is the introduction of the donation law. There's a new law being discussed right now, a couple days after protest, prohibiting people accept private donations. Basically, this new law would forbid people taking donations. I guess this is how they're trying to stop financing of the opposition. Well, good luck, guys. If you found this video interesting, please consider liking it and subscribing so you don't miss any further updates. And thank you for watching.